In just a few minutes, you'll go from scattered to steady using nothing but a pen, a tile, and a simple pattern called Purk. So I am Lisa Crow, a certified Zentangle teacher, and I'm just going to get started on today's lesson. So Purk begins with a kind of penciled in, almost like an egg shape. Now Purk can actually fit in various different shapes that you want it to. This is pretty much the sort of shape that is in the original Step Out, you know, the guide that shows you how to do each bit of the pattern step by step, that's kind of been released by Zentangle HQ. So I'll show you how to do this one, and then I can show you other examples when we get further into the video. So you're starting to do Purk when you bring in your pen by hooking a line. It's almost like a backwards S shape, if you see what I mean. A really lazy S. And then I'm going to parallel that line, or aura it, with another line that kind of joins on, as if that's a bar that wraps around our string line. And I'm going to do a few of these lines all the way down this sort of egg-shaped string that I have created. And if you have never encountered Zentangle until you come across this video, let me tell you that Zentangle, like nothing else, has had such a huge impact on my own mental health and well-being. It's just been absolutely incredible for me. So now I'm on a mission to share it with other people. So as you can see, the next stage, once we've got these bands down, is to draw a little orb-ish shape in the middle. It sort of reminds me of a baked bean. And we're going to create that shape between each of these bands. And if your bands are a bit narrower in height, you can see that I've just adapted the height of that shape there, that orb, to suit. Now, the way that Zentangle create Purk is that they have full shapes next to one another. So I'll show you on this top line what I mean by that. So their orbs stand right next to one another. They don't disappear under the one next to it. They have a complete shape like that. But what I like to do with Purk is that I almost have it, it's very subtle, perhaps, but to me that's not quite a full orb shape, because it's as if this middle one here is keeping this one slightly in the shade. But Purk just basically consists of drawing these orbs within that band. Well, I should say those two bands, really, because we've got those lines that are parallel of each other. I'm just going to put another couple of orbs here. And what I like to do, once I've created all of my orbs, is that I like to fill in the space that I have left behind. The bit here, I don't know if you can see the pencil line, whether it's too light or not on the camera. You could fill that full space up to where the pencil line is. I'm just going to add a little bit of rounding. It's up to you what you want to do with yours. And then I'm going to ink in this bit any space that I have left behind. It's such a great tangle, Purk. And sometimes I don't use it in the context of having the orbs, you know, within 2 bands like Purk is here, like, you know, the official version of Purk. But I have to say, I am a massive fan of using orbs. So even if I don't strictly use Purk, I always, in most of my tangles that I create, you'll find that I actually do have a series of orbs right next to one another. Just remembering that there's no hurry at all when you're creating any tangles. Zentangle is all about the process and not so much about the result. Although you will find that you produce something that you're proud of once you've completed everything. So that is me down to the bottom of that tile. So I'm just going to put my pen down for a moment. And what I like to do is that I put a little pencil shape of a kind of smile or a grin, and I do that just in the same spot in each of these Purks. I don't know if these orbs technically are Purks. I think Purk is like the full shape rather than the individual orbs, but you know what I mean. So I put all of those different smiley shapes down, and then I like to smooth them out. Soften them out a bit with the blending stump. So this video was actually requested by somebody who is a subscriber to my channel. So if you would like to have any particular tangles featured yourself, just let me know. Put a wee comment below. Let me know which one you would like to see. I mean, even if you know exactly how to do the tangle, but you would just like to see my take on it, I'm all for that, because, you know, it's your channel. I'm here to put videos out for you. So just let me know if there's a particular tangle that you'd like me to teach, and then I'll demonstrate that for you in one of my future videos. So these bands, like when I show you my samples that I've done previously, you'll see that I quite often just leave these bands as they are. But if you look at the actual step outs that Zentangle pulled together, which I'll share in my description in my video, you'll see that they've actually put a series of smaller orbs in these bands. It's just another level of detail, really. You could choose to use that or not use that. Or maybe you could do something else in this space. You could maybe draw a couple of lines so that you've got maybe 4 lines or 3 lines instead of just the 2. You could do some zigzag lines. There's so many different options, so that each time that you come to this tangle, you could always create it in a different way than the way that you created it last. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, instead of, because these are smaller orbs here, I'm going to just actually add some shading just on the top bit, the top half of it, as if the orbs on each of the bands above is casting a shadow. I'm bringing in my blending stump just to smooth that out. That makes such a difference. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in, this is a newish pencil. As far as I'm aware, it's new. I don't know if this has been out for a long time, but it's just new to Zentangle. But it's a General's layout pencil. So as far as I'm aware, it's graphite still in this pencil, but it's just a lot softer and darker than the pencil lead that you would get in the standard Zentangle pencil, or in many of the pencils that we would use at home. This just adds even more of a contrast than we had previously. And just to mention as well, I mean, you could have this one little smudge of graphite in each of these little orbs. Just as I'm doing it, I'm not going to add any more graphite in these individual ones today that I've created. But because I've done, like, these ones up here are separate ones that are side by side, but these ones, because they overlap each other slightly, you could look to have pencil coming down the sides here, as well as having those little kind of shapes. But I'm just going to leave my tile just as it is just now, from the point of view of adding the graphite. And I'm going to take my white pastel pencil and just put some highlight in the space opposite where we put that original graphite down. So if you have never seen any of my videos before, you won't know this, but the tile that I'm tangling on today is called a Renaissance tile in Zentangle world, and it is my favourite surface to tangle on, because if you're creating a tangle on white paper or a white surface of some description, you don't have really the same scope for adding dimension. You've got like the option of adding shadow, but if you don't have much black or contrast in the actual tangle, when you're on white paper you can't really do highlights. So I love to incorporate the highlights into my tangles. So I like using the tan coloured paper. And that is as complicated as Purk gets. I'm going now to put in my chop, being my identifier or signature, my initials LC, Lisa Crow. And I'm going to move now to show you previous Purk tangles that I have done. So this one is very different. So this is not traditional Purk by any means, because it's more in a square type shape. But it's just to show you it is quite versatile. I would still describe this as Purk, and I quite like that. This one here is on a black tile, as you can see, and I've just used my favourite colours and my brand colours as well. So kind of purple and teal, and it just kind of reminds me almost like of a ice cream or something. It's quite fun. This one, you can see I've got Purk up in the corner here. Quite liked the working on the black with the white pen. This one was one of the Zentangle project packs, I can't remember which project pack it was, but I'll share the link in the description. It's not strictly, you know, traditional Purk, but I do believe that they said it was a variation of Purk when they were drawing the video. This one was a video that Molly and Martha had done together. This is kind of a more traditional Purk. So I quite like that one. It's quite nice. But you can see my orbs, I've got them like a bit more squished. They kind of look a bit more as if they're square rather than round. But I do quite like the effect of that. This one is like, I couldn't, these are stuck on with glue to a page that was in a display book that I've got. So this one here, like I quite liked this effect of having like the middle stone as a gemstone or a Zen gem. And the last one that I was going to show you today is from another project pack. Again, I can't remember which project pack it was. I'm just going to zoom out a wee bit. But you may remember it if you've been following Zentangle yourself for a while. You may remember this project pack. It was all quite botanical, and it was all surrounding the Zentomology concept, and I really had fun with this one. So it was named Squadelia, and I cannot remember for the life of me which one taught this. I could not tell you at all whether it was Martha and Molly, Rick, Maria, whoever it was, but we've got Purk here as this flower head. And I thought that worked really well. That was so much fun. So yeah, that is my take on Purk. It's a very, very versatile tangle, as you can see. You could try it on different surfaces of tile. You could try it different colours of ink. So many ways that you could use it. So let me know if this video has been helpful for you. Like if it's been if it's made you feel nice and relaxed by the end of it, give it a little like. And please join me for another one in the future. I'd love to see you back here again. So thanks very much for joining, and I'll say bye-bye for now. Thank you. Bye.